the most important podcast on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, Denovo Realty Radio.
Hello, everyone. Today I'm here with Joshua Aikins, our world-famous real estate agent in our office here. And thanks for coming.
That's such a good title to give me.
Yeah.
World famous?
World famous, yes.
Sweet.
You are. Okay.
Self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed, and also I proclaim it too. So
awesome.
The two of us.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk some business, some personal life, some, hopefully you guys can get some good information out of this. So Josh recently completed his first Ironman. Congrats on that. That's a big accomplishment.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how long was that race?
Well, time-wise, it took me 16 hours and 11 minutes, which
sounds terrible.
It was horrible, extremely slow and painful. It was a 2.4 mile swim, a 116 mile bike ride, and then a 26.2 mile run. But for me, I walked it. So
yeah.
You
were like, it's like a nice little a joggy walk.
Yeah, I was going 4 miles an hour.
Yes.
Like I maintained. I had my watch and I was like, all right, I'm doing it. And then my watch died after 4 miles. And I was like, well, I feel like I got the rhythm.
I would have been going 50 miles an hour because I would have been like in the back of an ambulance had I made it that far.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. So
Thank you.
And then now you're training. Well, you're always training for triathlons.
Yep.
And we're doing one together, so you're training to lose for your next one.
Yeah, but I'm gonna lose.
April the 10th.
I'm gonna lose well.
Lose well. Okay.
Graciously.
Graciously.
That's the goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. April 10th. We'll post our results after the fact.
What happens though if I win? Because this is
the thing is, like, you're supposed to win because you're the triathlete of the office, and I'm like an imitator, just like doing my first one.
Yeah, but you're like.
I'm at a no-lose situation, which is nice.
You're you.
I don't know what that means.
Like you're buff and you're in shape.
That doesn't help for long distance events, though.
This is a short race, though. That's why I feel like you could snag it.
We'll see. So we got, what's it, third of a mile swim.
Yeah.
12 miles on the bike and 5K, 3.2 mile run.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, I'm hoping I can make it through it. So
I'm going to do it barefoot.
Are you?
I think so.
Yeah. You've been doing that lately.
I have. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not going to probably, but
you've been running barefoot, though.
I've been doing some, but not like any long distances like you. You did 14 miles the other day with them.
I did. Yeah. Oh, that was a story I was going to tell you.
Okay.
So I was running.
Go ahead and let it rip.
Let me tell you about my 14-mile run on Tropical Trail. So I like to listen to music when I do anything, and I've been listening to a lot of old country, in particular.
Interesting motivational choice for music.
It is, but it just sometimes it hits you just right, and so
Garth Brooks just rips that thing, and you're like, woo!
This is even better than Garth Brooks. And I'm a Garth Brooks fan. Sammy Kershaw.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay.
But it sounds like a country singer.
He sings this song called Vidalia, like the onion.
Okay. Vidalia by Sammy Kershaw.
By Sammy Kershaw. Look it up.
Okay.
So it's about this girl who, her name is Vidalia. Her mom and dad, her mom's name is Violet and her dad's name is Dale. And so they combined it to make her Vidalia. And so I also like to sing like while I'm running.
Okay.
And I didn't know that there were two people directly behind me
with no headphones on.
With no headphones on. For like, I think, because I passed them because they had stopped to take a picture of the water on Tropical Trail. So I know when I passed them. I just didn't know that they had directly gotten behind me. And
I'm sure they were impressed by your vocals.
I don't know. All I know is when they passed me back up again, like a mile down the road, I looked over and I was a little embarrassed. Yeah.
Hey, maybe it motivated them to run, at your pace because they were enjoying the tunes.
They had, how could you not enjoy Sammy Kershaw?
In Josh Aikins' voice.
Yeah, in my voice.
So tell us a little bit about like how you balance your triathlon training, because that's very time intensive. So you got your family, 2 kiddos.
Yep.
You got work, and you train for your triathlon.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't admit this to you, but work kind of suffered last year because of it.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just got to make sure,
Well, sometimes, life takes you different directions.
Yeah, I was training like 4 hours a day every day, like 5 days a week, and then on the sixth day, I was doing like eight hours on Saturdays.
It's a full-time,
Yeah,
close to a full-time job.
it was a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how I did it,
Yeah.
but
Well, what'd you learn from that?
well, man, I had a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
When you're spending that much time on the bike, there's nothing to do but listen to music and think. But
Did you ever do podcasts or anything when you do it, or does that
that's not motivational?
No, it's
when
not.
you're working out. No.
Unless you maybe got the David Goggins, because I did the David Goggins book
Yeah.
while I was running and stuff.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll get you pumped.
It does, for sure. For me, though, like, I like to listen to the podcasts and books while I'm driving, or sometimes I'll just sit in the backyard and listen to it when the kids are out front playing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
So-
we're going to talk about books at the end because we want to get some recommendations.
Yeah,
from
I've got a couple.
All right,
They're probably not what you'd expect.
I won't look. All right,
Yeah,
well,
don't
I'm
look at my
excited.
list.
I'm excited then.
Yeah, but balancing everything out. So, I would work out. I'd wake up at 5:30 every morning. And
Early mornings are the key.
that was pretty key for me. I tried 4:30 for a little while, but that was a little too much. So
What time were you going to bed when you got up at 4:30 and 5:30?
usually I don't sleep a lot. I don't think. Like now I'm trying to stay like at 10 o'clock. I need to be laying down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do too, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I do the 5:30. That gives me 7.5.
Yeah, that's
my
where
math's correct.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
feel pretty good on that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. But 4:30, I'd be in bed at like 9:30, 10 still.
Yeah.
So just a little bit less sleep. But yeah, that was key. So I'd work out, like I'd be out the door by 5:45, 6 o'clock, and then I'd be done by 10, and then I would come in here
Which
and
is still a big
get
part
some
of your
work.
morning when you're doing 4 hours in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would get a little bit of work done, and then I tried to get home to spend time with the kids after they get out of school, before dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
So one thing I know about you is, there's a lot of different philosophies on home ownership and investing and, when to use mortgages. And for me, myself, I have some rental properties. I have mortgages on them. Then you have like the Dave Ramsey type debt-free everything. You're on debt-free everything.
Yeah.
You've paid off your house. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So tell me kind of your philosophies behind that.
So I feel like the way you do it is, especially in this market, fine. And
You can say it's dumb. That's fine.
I don't think that at all. The thing is, like, I think there's a lot of people out there that have done a much better job than me of building wealth, and most of them do it your way. Like they'll borrow money on their rental properties, and the tenant will pay their mortgage for them, and your mortgage goes down over time, and your value hopefully will keep going up. And so eventually, if you keep it long enough, the tenants have paid off your mortgage for you, and you have a paid for property, and then you just cash flow everything. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But for me, what we've done is we've just spent years and years trying to get out of debt and paying off credit cards and cars and the house. There's something that happens to you when you become debt free that it's kind of hard to put in words, except like the only word that I know is freedom. So you experience this freedom that you don't know otherwise, and
which especially as a real estate agent, where any job, even if you're on a salary, business change. We saw COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs.
Right.
And real estate specifically, you're commission to commit, like you're not earning unless you're making a commission.
Right.
So you're not able, and you took a trip last year, 2020?
2 years ago. Now. Yeah.
And, that's probably a piece of that. You get the
Yeah.
freedom to kind of if you want to do something,
Right.
you don't got to worry about bills.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's more than that. It's really hard to explain.
It's a mental thing for you.
Yeah.
Just not being tied down maybe
Right.
like to anything like as far financially.
I hate even having a cell phone bill, honestly. Like just
any
having anything
recurring.
going out. Yeah, any recurring. But you have to have some.
So the changes in software over the years where they used to be able to buy Microsoft Word was a one-time thing.
Don't even get me started
I was
on
going to
that.
say that's got to be triggering for you then.
It's horrible.
And all of software now is you're doing monthly subscriptions.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Norton antivirus got me.
Antivirus, those bastards.
They got me. I used to have the thing, and then you can't have the CD-ROM anymore because who even has a CD-ROM? Do you even know what a CD-ROM is? 90s kids.
90s kids these days.
So yeah, you can't have the CD anymore, so you can't like put it on your next computer.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to pay like $100 for the year or something stupid.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm not gonna get a virus.
Yeah. No, I can respect that. It's I'm not, like I said, I'm on the not the opposite side because I still think people should be as debt free as possible. But and you have to do it. People overextend is the problem. So you have to have a lot of self discipline to not do that, because if you're getting credit cards, you're getting too many mortgages and stuff, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. So you got to do it intelligently.
The only argument that I could say against that is it works when it works.
Mm-hmm.
But when things aren't working, it doesn't work anymore because, I mean, you were an agent back in the recession, right?
Yeah, yep. I was selling $50,000 single-family homes in some cases, which was wild to look at now.
Yeah. So how many people back then, they're like, oh, this is amazing. I've got this mortgage that I really can't afford, on a property, but the tenant's going to pay for it.
I wasn't old enough to experience the crash
Okay.
from that standpoint because I was in high school. In
True.
2007 I graduated, so.
In high school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, and then I started doing the real estate where I was doing a bunch of foreclosure stuff was 2012 when it was like, and that was probably one of our lower, 11 and 12 and 10, some of our lowest price points. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, I bought my first house in 2009 thinking it was the bottom. And then the value just kept going down from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you would have still had that house now.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny because we had bought like a couple houses on the same street. Mm-hmm. So our first house was a little 2-2 with a 1-car garage. And then I bought the house 2 doors down. It was a 3-2 with a 2-car garage. And I paid like $10,000 or $15,000 less for that one, for the bigger house.
Yeah.
And then I bought the house 2 doors down from there. That was my first ever rental property. And then I sold that to this really nice lady named Carol. She had passed away, and so I sold the house for her family last year. It was it was like one of my first listings with Denovo.
That's a cool story. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool because I know what I paid for it. I know what I sold it to her for, and then I know what I sold it for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
crazy.
It's wild to see.
Yeah.
My very first house that I purchased, I bought for $130,000. The guy had bought it for $200,000.
Okay.
And it was, I guess in that time, people's thought was like it was going to continue to go down because, and you don't know the future, of course. So looking back on it, you could say that was really dumb of him to do because he could have held it on, rented it or whatever.
Right.
He brought $70,000 to closing. So like he brought money to closing.
Wow.
Yeah, of $70K.
It's amazing he had the ability to do that.
Yeah, and most people, a lot of people in that scenario like let the house go and then went in foreclosure, and that was when all the foreclosures happened. But if he would have held on until today, he could have sold it for $300,000. So it's like but at the time you don't know if it's going to continue to go down. So he probably was at the point of like, I'm going to cut my losses now.
Yeah, but you also don't know how many properties he had.
Mm-hmm.
So if he had 10
He's
properties,
making a big write-off or something.
Well, some people can't eat the cost of those mortgages, and so many tenants lost their jobs too.
Yeah. That was a tough market.
Yeah,
for sure. So Josh, in your opinion, what's like the most important personality trait or thing that you can have to be successful in your field of being a real estate agent?
I feel like mental toughness. I had to look it up and see if there's another term for it.
I think it's a good resilience. I think is I would agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like you have so many times where like maybe there's nothing in the pipeline and you're wondering where the next sale is going to come from. Or the other side of it is you have 50 buyers that you can't get under contract, and you're like, when is this ever going to end?
Popular in this market right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I think like resilience and mental toughness is the most important, because, you know, staying in this industry for long term, you're like outside of like struggles with, you know, not having anybody in the pipeline or having pipeline that you can't find houses for. It's just like you do face also a lot of rejection as far as, you know, deals that you lose or clients that you lose to somebody else, or, you know, just having tough transactions themselves that can be like a lot of bad things go wrong that's out of your control that you have to deal with, and, you know, getting through that and then keeping staying positive through all those things, because if you're down in the dumps all the time as a realization, you're not getting any business.
No.
You realize,
Nobody's going to want to work with you.
I'm selling houses today.
So how do you think that you can go? I feel like naturally I'm more pessimistic, which most people may not understand. I have to work really hard to not be that way. So how do you think you can go from that to being more positive? How do you gain that mental toughness? Because you're reading David Goggins' book right now.
Yeah, I read that book. That was a great book. I think, you know, a lot of it is, you know, let me think about how to say this. Getting yourself, like getting into a rhythm of things that you're doing every day. So like having a consistent thing that you do every day to build momentum for the day, I think is important. That's why Miracle Morning or having a good morning is like, you know, if you can have some things accomplished in the morning, you have some momentum going for a tough day, because sometimes you're going to have tough days in real estate. So getting through the days and then, you know, starting over, recharging, having your morning routine, I think is big. And then
it's funny you say that, because I didn't think of it that way. Like, I do those things, but I know I feel better after I do them going into my day.
Yeah.
But like the way you stated it, of you get these things done, and it gives you that momentum to go forward.
I think that's definitely a huge thing, because, you know, your morning sets your day, and when you know, and like they say, like even like making your bed, it's like you're checking off one thing off the checklist. No, but I know that is a book, but I've heard that concept for a long time. But like, you know, getting those tasks done in the morning. And then now you've already got this momentum of like, I've accomplished something for the day before the day even begins. I think that's important.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it's like, you just got to suck it up. Like because it builds over time. The toughness builds over time.
Right.
And then the things that used to be really difficult to you are now significantly less difficult. And that's like, you know, especially when we talk about like we're making phone calls and stuff to, you know, leads. Like,
right.
Everyone hates doing that at first, and then it's like, you know, you build up like a thicker skin.
Yeah.
And it grows over time.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I can, today alone I've made over 50 phone calls. Go our team.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you're on my team.
Yeah, we are.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's a big piece of it, and you just like, the longer you do it, and you also have to accept that is the reality. Like, there's going to be hard days. There's going to be a lot of bad things that happen.
Yeah.
And you build up a thicker skin over time. And you don't let stuff because I know a lot of people that, you know, agents, people in other businesses, they take things very personally too. And that's easy to do with everything in life. And then, like, you start to, like, understand, like, this isn't, like, something personal against me. Like, this stuff happens. And then you just do it again, do it again, do it again. So it's like repetition, and then like building momentum is important.
Yeah, I feel like you're like when you get those rejections on the phone, you can look at it as like just another person that doesn't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
Or you can look at it as, I can cross them off the list and just move forward.
It's like I'd rather get a no than waste my time trying to follow up with you when you got some other plans that you're too afraid to tell me.
One of my affirmations that I do each morning is, I should know this because I do it every morning. Let me think about this. It's I must do the things I think I cannot do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times the things you think you cannot do disguise themselves as things that you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so like if you have this inkling of, oh, I don't want to do this, like this is just gonna suck.
Yep.
Yeah. I think a lot of times it's you not believing that you can accomplish it.
And even the way that you frame it and the way that you talk to yourself, like, when it's like, oh, I have to go show houses today.
Right.
Or you're like, oh, I get to show houses today.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this like super simple, like just like saying that to yourself instead of like you got the opportunity to do something that you could frame in two different ways.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that just popped in my head, like this term, and I think I get this from working out. It's like a concept of voluntary hardship. So I know like for me, obviously like the powerlifting side was like what I enjoy and like what I've done for 10 years. And there's like all these days where like you absolutely don't want to do it. And you're like, I'd rather die than do another squat. But like when you do that enough times, you're like building up that skin. And the thing about it is that no one gives a shit if I did my squats.
Right.
Like
it's
no
only
one
for
cares.
you.
It's only for you. So it's like
Right.
100% voluntary.
Yeah.
So like when you do like a voluntary thing over and over again, that's hard. It builds up like this like callus for like the rest of life.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with real estate because we're like these independent contractors and we don't have to like show up at a job at X time and like we have to be there. It's like an option. Like, do I want to wake up and do I want to do my follow-up today or do I want to sleep in until, until I'm like, oh, don't have time to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like it is a voluntary thing even though that's your job. So I think like whatever your hobby is or something like that like you're doing out of your own free will voluntarily that is difficult and you don't miss those sessions that like builds up that kind of callus to it.
Yeah. Having to push through that mental barrier is so key.
Yeah,
I do
for sure.
things like the polar plunge.
Yeah, just stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like no, you don't have to do that. No one cares if you
Right.
do it or not. But it's like
It's gonna suck.
I'm gonna do it. This is gonna suck, and
Yeah.
then the other stuff in life becomes easier because you're like, I already did this. This sucked bad.
Right.
Now this is way easier.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure. That's good stuff. So, what do you think is kind of like the most important lesson you've learned in your career?
Oh. Don't count on the money until it's in the bank.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Don't, it's never, I do that with my clients too, like when they get excited.
Yeah. Like, it's not
like,
done yet.
I'm not going to let you jump around and be excited until like, here's your keys.
Yep.
It's all over because that's real estate, day
Yeah.
of, like,
Anything can happen.
anything can happen.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It sucks when it's the day of or the day before.
It's the
and then
worst.
it just falls apart on you.
But it happens. And,
It happens.
And in all kinds of, anything can happen in real estate. So, yeah, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Exactly.
Gotcha. You got a productivity hack that helps you in
Yeah.
your day-to-day life or real estate career?
I do. So the part of that miracle morning is visualization.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is I create a to-do list for the day every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of visualize how I expect my day to go. And so I write everything down in my notebook of like I need to do this. And I try to write it in order of how I think I'm going to get it done too.
Mm-hmm.
And as I go through the day, I just check off like each little item that I wrote down.
Yeah, so visualize it first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I got a full morning routine too. So.
Yeah, you have a journal, right?
Yes, I have the 5-minute journal.
Or is it a diary?
Diary. It's a diary. It's my darkest secrets. But no, my journal is 3 sections. 3 things I'm grateful for. 3 things that I could do for the day that would make myself have a great day, and then 1 affirmation. And
Okay.
It's the 5-minute journal, and it's got a nighttime thing. 3 things that happened that were great for the day, and what could I have done to make today better.
You do it at night too.
Yeah, and the night is much harder to stick to than the morning. Because the morning you're in a morning routine, and like the other one you're like before I go to bed.
Right.
You can make that a routine too, but
You can, but I feel like it's so hard.
it's harder.
Because you have to force yourself to like turn the TV off or
And
get
it's
off
harder
the phone.
because like a lot of times like nighttime you're tired.
Yeah.
Like, I mean you're tired in the morning too,
you just
but
don't feel like it.
you're just like you feel less like doing it at night.
Yeah.
But I've liked adding the night, because the reflection of the day, I feel like it closes the loop for the day.
Yeah.
Before you go to bed too, it gets you in a good.
I wonder if I should start reviewing my day. Like if I didn't check off something on my to-do list. What do you do if that happens? Do you just start the next day, or do you like get out of bed and go get it done?
No, it depends on what it is, and there's certainly things I put like on my journal in the morning, like that would make one of the items, and I'll do it for if it's I'm going to get it done the next day. I'll just write it again for the next day. Okay. But obviously you try not to ever write it. In the whole to-do list thing, that's that was from one of my books with The Art of Getting Things Done.
Okay.
And the way, which is a whole nother story, but that book has helped. That would be one of my books, probably, The Art of Getting Things Done. It's kind of dry, but it's got really good concepts in it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your books, because in my mind, you're like the king of organization for your day.
Yeah.
Like, it's inspiring.
Yes, it's like, for whatever reason, how my brain works too. It's like, and also when you get like really busy and stuff falls through the crack. There's so many tools out there and like ways to do things that it is a big, like, I'm passionate about researching how to do more with less.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's our next one.
The books?
The books. So 3 book recommendations for the audience and why you chose them.
Okay, well, I already talked about Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and I'll just give you the...
And he has it's the same thing, but he has a real estate agent version of Miracle Morning. Yeah.
No way.
So the story, because that's like a fictional story in it, and how it applies, that's a cool kind of book, because you get deeper into the concept by seeing the day-to-day and how it works. But there's a real estate agent version of it.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's actually the only one that I read. I haven't read the other one.
Okay, I only read the other one.
Yeah, this is the same exact concepts.
Okay.
It's literally just a real estate story instead.
So his whole concept, there's like 7 steps in the morning, things you should do. He wakes up at 4:30 religiously, apparently. I tried that for a few months, and I was okay for a few months, but then it was too much for me. 5:30's been good, but it's he calls it the life savers. So saver is silence. You sit in silence for however long you want. The A is for affirmations. V is visualization. E is exercise. R is read, and S is scribe or journal. And so I chose that book because I read that maybe three years ago, and it significantly impacted my life.
Yeah. I would almost say getting like out of a concept that I've had over the last few years, like the morning routine has probably been, for me too, like one of the most impactful things.
Yeah, I used to just wake up and check my emails like right away.
The worst thing you can do.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a quick tidbit on that. The concept is like you are immediately waking up in reaction mode versus being proactive, because emails are coming into you as and directing where your day goes, versus you having things that you need to do, or whether it's bigger things or smaller things, but you're reacting instead of being proactive.
That makes sense.
And that's what the inbox, you're responding to someone else's message, because messages coming into you versus like what's important that I need to get done today.
Yeah, well, for me, the emails are always like junk. Like there's never anything important.
Yeah.
It's like TJ Maxx has a sale going on.
Yeah. There's that, and then there's you'll get some important ones and stuff, but the concept of emails is not that it needs to be. And I tell everybody in the office about turn off your email notifications. Like, you don't need to be driving in the car getting email notifications. Like, you take specific time to respond to emails so you can sit down, do it, because what happens is you read that message, you don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Now it clogs up your brain because I got this thing on there. Versus next time you sit down, I get to sit down, respond to it, do it. You
also write stuff down as it comes in, like during the day, like little reminders that I need to address this.
Yeah.
Instead of just thinking about it.
That's a big thing too. Is anything coming in goes immediately out, written down or on whatever you're using.
Yeah.
That's
you use it on your phone, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. You've got an app for everything.
I got an app for that, but there is a lot of power in writing. That's also important, so using a notebook or whatever, but getting it out immediately.
When you write in your journal every day, do you write in pen or pencil?
Pen.
Really? Says a lot about you.
Does it? What does it say?
It says that you like whatever you write down. That's it.
That's
like,
it. I can't
go
erase
back.
it. I do scribble over there. My handwriting's terrible.
Well,
So
yeah, you should have been a doctor.
yes, it's awful handwriting. But yeah, Miracle Morning's a great book.
Yeah, that was a good one. Another one is called Love Does, and it's by Bob Goff.
Okay.
And this one was pretty key to me. The biggest concept that hit home for me was this concept of living with whimsy, having the ability to kind of bounce left or right at any moment, and giving that to your kids. So, like one thing that we did with the road trip, we had sold our house and we just left and trusted that when we got back there'd be a house waiting for us, and we would be able to be back in Satellite Beach when the time was right, So, but that was really a cool concept. Like he had stories of where I think he was a lawyer. I assume he made good money as a lawyer, but he had to like sell his car so that he and his son could go like skiing or something. I don't even remember what the exact story was, but he just would do things that don't seem rational at the time, but ended up being like just a really cool moment for his family. Yeah.
Love Does.
Yeah, Love Does.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll have to check that. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah. I think it's an older book.
Okay. Cool. What you got for number 3?
Number 3, Anything by Ben Mesrick. Have you heard of him?
Anything by him?
Anything by him.
Okay.
Like,
Ben Mesrick.
He was the first author that I started. So I'm cheap, and I went to Books A Million, and I went to their clearance section. And it was like $4. I'm like, oh, this looks good. I totally judged a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Like
this is a nice flashy cover.
Yeah, and it was. And the first book I ever read by him is called Rigged, and it talks about the commodities markets. Which sounds totally lame, but it's this guy, and he ends up going to like Abu Dhabi, and he sets up like their exchange over there, and then like he almost gets murdered on the commodity market floor, and like this is all a true story.
Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah, so it's like a historical biographical material. Like a lot of his books are. He wrote the one. You remember the movie 21?
Yeah.
He wrote the book that's based on called Breaking Down the House.
Yeah.
So, but he has this other book called Sex on the Moon, and it's about these people.
It's a good book title.
Yeah, again, I judge a book by the cover. I'm like, this
that
looks
one's the
right.
one I want to read.
Yeah. So it's about this NASA. I think they were interns. Yeah, they were interns, and they get it in their head that they're going to steal some moon rocks and sell them on the black market. And so this kid is totally like wicked smart and could easily get out of college, when he graduates and get a job with NASA, making a couple $100,000 a year or whatever. But he's an idiot and he steals moon rock and tries to sell it for $150,000. So
Ben Mesrick.
Yeah, Ben Mesrick. He tells a really good story, and I can't say that I glean anything from that. Like, it was totally just, I have this desire to live a double life, and this like,
and that guy did it for you.
He did it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. If I wasn't a realtor, I'd be a drug runner.
That's a good alter. I should have had that. What would you do if you weren't in real estate? Drug runner.
Drug runner. That's for a day. The problem is you don't know who you're getting into business with in that industry.
You do
like
not.
You'll have a wall stuffed with dollar bills, but then they'll murder you. So I feel like you never come out clean.
Double-edged sword there.
Yeah, but for a while,
it sounds cool.
You're a rock star.
You're a rock star.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
What would you have done if you weren't in real estate?
If I wasn't in real estate, it's not that exciting. I think I would do mortgages. That's just not.
That's still real estate related.
I like that industry too.
Okay.
Yeah. It is. It's not. Yeah. I like that.
You didn't want to open your own gym?
Opening my own gym would also be on there, but I'm gonna do that anyways.
Yeah, in the back room.
In the back of the building. Yeah. My own gym. Yeah. That's definitely like in coaching. Really, coaching strength training would be fun. That's good. Am I doing my books?
Yeah, I was hoping you were doing your books.
So I think I would say, in no particular order, Atomic Habits is definitely on my top 3.
Okay.
That one.
I've seen, you have it on the shelf.
Atomic Habits is a great book. Definitely, it was impactful in my life. Life is all like accomplishing things or just day-to-day relationships, anything. It all comes down to like small little pieces of your day. And, nothing great's accomplished in a day or a small period of time. It's all about habits. And that book did a really good job of actually breaking it down into like understanding why habits work and why habits don't. I think that was the big thing about that book, because everyone knows like, oh, your day-to-day habits are important. But that book like really broke it down as to like how to change your habits, which is like what very few books about habits do, because I've read a couple.
What, can you give an example of that? Like how do you change your habit?
So,
like, because it's not as simple as like just do it.
Right. So it'll break down like so the 4 pieces of a habit: cue, response, reward. I could be screwing these up, but it explains like how habits work, and then there's concepts of it, like habit stacking, like when you do something that you're already doing and then you add it on to the end of that, and how things like that become so much easier when you do things like a habit stack.
Okay.
Or when, if a habit is too difficult to start, that you're realistically not going to do it. So it's like about starting small, and it's all about starting like, how do you make the habit have less friction to start the habit? So there's a lot of little pieces like in the book that actually you can do in your real and triggers. It goes over like what trigger, like especially when people are trying to stop things, and in like one thing, like I drank too much beer, and I stopped doing that a lot, and I like would notice like why did I want a beer during this time period? So I'm like, this is the trigger for it. So it's like, how do I like eliminate that? And it's just like a lot of simple things like that once you get the full concept, then you can start to see in your day-to-day of it happening, and then it's like much easier to actually fix versus like just start doing this habit,
Yeah, you're like identifying the triggers, and when you see that, you then have to make a conscious decision to either
then like, oh, that was something that I just like and like, can I remove that trigger?
Right.
And like the habit stacking was like easy, because like if you want to add a new habit, you add it on to something you're already doing. Like, if it was like part of a morning routine, like you do it right after you brush your teeth, like you brush your teeth hopefully every morning, and then you add it on to that. So it's like, it was a really good book. So Atomic Habits is one. I like The Art of Getting Things Done. That one was like, I struggled to read through the first time. It was kind of dry, but then I read it again and it made a lot of sense to me. But it's all about like the thing, like you have an inbox where everything comes out of your head, and then because it's, especially in real estate, it's very difficult to organize like what's your important thing that you need to get done, what's like just a one-off task, like when can I do it? And the book goes over like putting ways to create separate lists, so like things are all always out of your head and you're doing them at the right times.
Is this the book that gave you your board, your concept, because you have the backlog?
That's actually that was from at Scrum. That's called
Scrum. Okay.
Scrum, yeah. Scrum is a very simple concept. There's a couple books about it. None of them would make my top 3.
Okay.
But that concept is really cool.
Was that the same one that you said kind of ties in with The Art of Getting Things Done, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because those are about projects.
Yeah.
That's all about like organizing actual bigger events into projects. The art of getting things done is how to tie in projects with your day-to-day. Okay. Which is a big thing to do, because you always have like these bigger things, like especially real estate. Like you want to do marketing, you want to do, client touches, and then you have your day-to-day transactions. So you have all these different types of things, and then it's about like meshing it all into one single system. Yeah. So that's, organizes it. Yeah. And to it actually works, like, and you can fit in, like, you just need a notebook. Yeah. There's nothing special about it. So that was cool. I think as a business owner, I definitely love the 4 disciplines of execution. That was another one. Like I said, a lot of the books I have are about organizing and getting things done.
Is that how to execute your employees?
How to execute your employees when they're being bad.
I want to live a double life. So
when your cameras run out of batteries, and you have to reconsider your hires.
If you need me to get rid of anybody,
You're the
will.
go-to in the double life as a drug runner. So
I'm the strong arm of Denovo.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, that's what I do.
All right, Josh, this was a great episode.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I think hopefully the audience learned some stuff. We're going to continue to do these.
Okay, I'm down.
We'll see you next time.
Now go!